What is up, car addicts? In this video, I'll be top speed drive race testing the new Groti Furia versus the top 5 supercars. I will also test it against the 2 cars that are ahead and below its position because it's a lot slower than top 5 to say the least. So keep in mind that this track is perfectly flat, therefore the results are not the same as testing it on the city or on a highway where the speed is different. All cars are fully modified. Also, as newer cars release, the positions of these cars may change. So if you're wondering why certain supercars are missing from this list, that's because they were too slow to make it into the top 5 list that we show at the beginning. So the timestamps for each car shown in the video will be in the pinned comment where you can select exactly which races you want to see. I will also summarize the results and provide my overall opinion on the Furia at the end of the video with the timestamp for that in the pinned comment as well to make it as easy as possible to find. Hope you enjoy. Alright, so according to the testing on this perfectly flat track, that places the Groti Furia in a very sad 34th place out of the 44 raceable supercars currently in game. That is right behind the Penetrator, which is in 33rd place. So, slower than a Penetrator, that's kind of sad, Rockstar. I feel like that's a little overkill. I mean, I understand they don't want to make the cars too overpowered anymore, but slower than a Penetrator? I think that's a little too much. So, it's quite obvious that the Furia gets absolutely wrecked by the top 5 cars, as shown in the video if you watch the drag races first. So, what cars exactly are around its pace? So the Furia, again, wedges itself between the Penetrator and the Cyclone. So the Furia just barely beats the Cyclone by the end, which is quite sad, as, you know, most supercars kind of beat the Cyclone by the end, because this race is really long. Cyclone has its strongness, which is, you know, acceleration, but then most supercars pass it before the end. So I went ahead and tested the Turismo R against it as well. That race is actually quite interesting. So the Furia gets ahead of it almost the entire race. It has the acceleration benefit. But the Turismo somehow has a higher top speed, which allows it to catch up to it and pass it by the end. So, man, again, I understand that we shouldn't keep getting overpowered cars in game. You know, you get faster and faster and faster, and it makes other cars useless. But I'm not expecting that from the Fury. I'm not expecting it to be the new fastest car, the new competitive car. But I feel that for a car that costs almost $3 million with upgrades, that it should be at least in top 10, top 15 fastest cars. I think that's fair, but not down, you know, in the 30s. I mean, that's just ridiculous. So is the Furia worth over $3 million with upgrades for its performance? Keyword performance. I personally don't think so. When you have a $500,000 Turismo R, that's just as nice looking as far as the styling in my opinion, literally beating it. But when it comes to the design of the car and cool things like the Koenigsegg doors, the active rear spoiler, it has good customization as well. I do see why it could be a cool car to buy and worth buying for some people as a garage queen or something you drive around for fun once in a while. But in a racing situation specifically, don't expect to be competitive in this car. Even if you're racing against bad drivers, I still would think it's going to be very difficult to beat them. I mean, even if you're racing against an Emerus that crashes into every wall and every corner, I think he's still going to catch up to you and beat you by the end. So, anyways, guys, remember to keep in mind the positions of these cars and may change as newer cars release. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.